over on the left side.
Yeah.
I had it kind of.
All right. Did you know that your hand and fingerprints reveal your current and lifelong challenges? Would you like to learn how hand analysis can help you unlock mysteries about your life and put you on the road to greater self-empowerment? Are you ready to learn about your hands and what they say about your soul mission for this lifetime? If so, today's show is for you. Our guests will be talking about our hands and fingerprints and what they reveal about our lives. She'll also be sharing some key points about what your hands reveal. So get your pen and pad ready. You're going to take some notes. Buckle up. We're getting ready to take a ride in the quantum field and possibly beyond. Buckle up. I wouldn't want you to go flying off to another dimension, or just maybe, that's exactly what you need. This is the People and Pets Show. Welcome to the People and Pets Show. I'm so grateful and honored to have with us our guest today, Barbara Gale. Barbara, how are you this morning?
I'm wonderful. Thank you here. Wonderful to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. And just real quick, I've known Barbara probably for about 5 or 6 years. Yeah. When I was living full-time here in Texas, I used to go to local holistic festivals in the San Antonio and Austin area. And often Barbara was my mate next door at the booth. And we used to just kind of visit over the years. So little by little, got to know each other. And when I launched the People and Pets Show a couple months ago, I reached out to her before then and said, hey, would you be interested in being a guest? Because she does some really cool things with hand and finger analysis. So I'm really happy to have her. And also, I'm so grateful and blessed to have you with us this morning. There are so many things you could be doing with your time. And I'm so grateful and honored that you've chosen to spend some of it with us. You're going to get a lot of value out of our conversation today. So as I said, get your pen and pad ready. And also, if you're seeing this live on Facebook, please give us those loves and like buttons if you like what you're seeing. Also, if you're seeing it on the replay, you can also give some love and like buttons on the replay. And also, if you're seeing it on the YouTube channel, on the People and Pets YouTube channel, be sure to give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to the People and Pets channel. So, just a few words about who I am. One more thing. As we go during the conversation, please let us know where you're viewing this from. Probably have some people here in North America, Australia, Europe. Just let us know where you're viewing it from. And also, as we go along during the course of our conversation, you're going to have some questions for Barbara. So please type those into the chat box, and during the conversation, I'll get to those. So, my name is Mark Hernandez. I am the owner and founder of People and Pets Energetics. I'm a holistic practitioner that helps people, animals, and their spaces when they've hit the wall with health and well-being issues. Basically, I have intuitive gifts and extensive training to read the subtle energy fields of people, animals, and spaces, and then identify and release non-beneficial energies locking into place a health or well-being challenge. For people, what you're probably asking, what most commonly, why do they see Mark? What gets them in the door? It's usually a pain, often a physical pain. This is often a pain they've had like for 10, 15 years. They've already consulted with their medical doctors, done all sorts of tests, and the doctors say, we really can't account for why you're in so much pain. Maybe they've even done some alternative stuff, and it's helped some, but maybe there's still a piece that's incomplete, and that this pain is disrupting their daily life. So that's a lot what I work with people, but I also work in 4 areas with people: health and wellness, money, finances, career future, and relationships. This may be your relationships in your family, mother-daughter, work relationships, love relationships. Everything's energy. I'll see what's locked into place your stuff and release it quickly. For your pets, the most common things I work with them are changes in behavior. That peeing and pooing in the household, separation anxiety, excessive barking, and much more. So I do consultations in person, like at those holistic fairs, or most often I do these consultations by phone or video technology. So that's a brief introduction of who I am and what I do. So let's go to today's guest. I'm getting ready to introduce our guest. I'm so happy to introduce today's guest, Barbara Gale. Barbara is an expert in hand analysis, which she uses to guide her clients in the areas of relationship mastery, spiritual awakening, intuitive development, and life direction. Her own journey of personal empowerment led her to hand analysis, which allows those that feel hopeless and helpless to see their own greatness. Because so often, when we're in that kind of funky space, we don't realize that, we're still magnificent. The clouds have come over and is blocking the sun, but behind those clouds, you're still shining brightly. Mm-hmm. She has studied hands, soul mentoring, and higher consciousness for over 10 years. According to Barbara, our fingerprints and palms hold a multitude of information that help to demystify our soul mission, personal traits and preferences, love language, the 5 love languages, and personal mastery in order that we attain soul fulfillment, because ultimately we all want to have a meaningful life. She offers private reading sessions of the hands that show our current struggles and repeating life themes. Best of all, Barbara always helps her clients leverage this information to chart their own success. Okay, so it's just not a nice little reading. She's going to help you to take action with this, act on this information. Barbara's own empowerment journey has led her to share and help others who feel, as I said earlier, helpless and hopeless, and to see their own greatness. It is her passion and path to share the tools and wisdom gained from her process and journey. Through hand analysis, Barbara helps her clients see the bigger picture and guides them through challenging times. The topic of our conversation today is Fingerprints, a window to your power and purpose. Welcome to the People and Pet Show, Barbara.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here.
Absolutely. And before we start our conversation, as I said, I'm going to go to the chat box and see where people are popping in. No comments. Let's see.
Wonderful.
Let me go down. Okay. Ooh. Have someone from Japan. Elmer.
Lovely.
Wow. Nippon. I lived in Taiwan, so thank you for joining us. I know it's about 12 or 13 hours difference.
Wow.
Cindy says, hello, Barbara and Mark. Hello, Cindy. Thanks for being with us. She's often is on the shows. Donna from Mississippi. Cool. The South. Excellent. Thank you. We got Carla Dube, I believe Dube from Massachusetts. I lived in Boston for 10 years, so say hi to Boston for me. I haven't been there in a while. Need to go back. Lovely state. Thank you. Let's see where else. Okay, well, that's what's coming up for the moment. Cool. Let me, all right. So, Barbara, tell us a little bit more. I kind of alluded to some elements of your personal journey, how you got to hand analysis. Yes. Can you share with us some key moments and how you got into this?
Yes, I would love to. It was a journey that was really a big change in my life because I had just come out of a failed, well, I wouldn't say failed marriage, but a long marriage where I was failing to get out of it way too long.
Yeah.
And we were married about 28 years. And in 2006, I made the decision and had found the courage to leave. Mm-hmm. And it was a shattering experience for me. I was really trying to get the courage for a very long time to go out on my own. And so it was very interesting that the hand analysis shed a lot of light on that. Mm-hmm. I moved from a small town where I raised my son into Austin. And when I came to Austin, I went to a holistic fair where I attended a lecture with a reader who was talking about the connection between fingerprints and life purpose. And it was fascinating. And so I ended up seeing her and signing up for a reading. And boom, man, she told me more about myself in 2-hour session than I had learned about myself in 4 years of therapy.
Okay.
So I had a total understanding of the bigger picture, why I had the struggles that I had, why I had the empowerment issues that I had. It was there in my chart. It was telling me, this is what you have to learn to get to a place where you're on the positive side of it, okay? Because all of our life purpose pieces are, we come in with the struggle end of it, usually, as the student, and then we learn to life experience how to master it. So my empowerment issues were right there playing in my hand. And she was explaining that to me in a way that I was like, wow, this is big, big shift for me, because there was, I was always working as an artist.
Okay.
And I was very happy as an artist, but there was still this yearning to do something that was more impactful.
Yeah.
So I was doing women's work. I really had found my freedom from this marriage, and I was working on empowerment issues. I studied with people who were experts in relationships and empowerment. And then I decided to train with this hand analysis, because it was just, I mean, it explained how we worked in a way that was just so brilliant. I wanted to bring it to others. So I was very passionate about helping people with their empowerment and with their life purpose. I just thought it was a huge gift to be able to help people. And so I've been practicing this way for 10 years.
Yeah. Well, cool. I was just curious, because I've done some, some more dabbling, like about 8 years ago when I was living in Taiwan. I had a reading on like Chaldean numerology, and I know like some people use astrology.
Yes.
Is there anything in particular that hand analysis reveals that either like complements or really adds on that some of these other methods do also?
Well, I love the question. I love numerology and I love astrology, both. And I think they do give us great reflections of ourselves, but I haven't found it to be as specific and as deep as I have found the hand analysis, because it really reveals, like, you have to study a long time for astrology to really give you a direction and a journey and a blueprint, if you will, or a map. And this is really a soul map. It's your master plan, and it gives us a lot more specifics than I had found in either of the other. And I choose to use hand analysis for our self-development. I don't really work with it from a predictive side, and I know astrology is often used as a predictive side, and so is numerology. And it gives me great insights to you, but I don't choose to be in the business of predicting the future for people. I'm an empowerment coach. I work on helping you self-develop, if you will.
I think that's a really important point you say, because when I'm doing consultations with clients, at the end I'll say, okay, with your issue, there was this % of change, you're aware of it. But I always tell people, this is a potential future trajectory. I said, your future is not set in stone. So I think that's an important point, what you said about self-empowerment, that if things are heading in a certain direction, you can still change them.
Absolutely. And so you are the one that has, if I give you the tools, then you're in command of your life. And that's what I choose to do, is give you the tools to be in charge.
Yeah, great. I'm going to go back and check in the chat comments and see.
Wonderful.
Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to figure reactions, comments. Let's see. Trying to figure out, doesn't seem to be showing me more. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Okay. Love this. Sue says, love this. Good. Let's see. Mary Zimmerman, awesome. Enjoying this. Thank you. Let's see. Pam Gary saying hello. Ah, we have Kelly Klein from Chicago. That's where I'm primarily in. Hi, Kelly. Okay, a little bit biased. I'll put the Chicago comment up. All right, okay. All right, let's see. We have Sue from New Jersey also. Good. Let me, and Christy Warnick, an amazing spiritual intuitive healer in her own right. Excellent, great person too. Let's see. Okay, let me, okay, we have Kim from Wisconsin. All right, so thank you. Keep the, and also, as I said earlier, write in your questions. So, Barbara, let's talk about a little bit the method of hand analysis.
Okay.
What does a typical hand analysis consultation look like? If you can share some pieces of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I like to start with a handprint because if I'm working with you long distance, I send you a kit. And I look for you to print your hand like this.
Yeah, could you hold that up a little higher? Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah, okay.
So, yeah,
Great.
you can
Thank
tell
you.
me when it's on camera. Okay.
Yeah.
So we look at the fingerprints in detail, but I want to see all of this of your hand as well.
Okay.
Because all of our gift markings can show up in and around the palm. So this gives me something to study in depth for as long as we're working together. If I'm working with you live in a short version of like at a holistic fair, I don't print your hand, but I look in detail and do a chart of your fingerprints. And even at a short reading, I will do a chart. So I'm looking at where your fingerprints show up on your 10 digits. And then I write down all the details of what are 3 major features that you'll get out of hand analysis. One is your life purpose direction. One is your life school, which is the trial and error theme of your life, if you will, that kind of supports everything else in our life. Yeah. And then the third that I really like to shed light on is our emotional wiring. Our emotional wiring is, it's almost as equal to our lesson. If we're not looking at that, we don't really get out of kindergarten to graduate to the next level. Okay. So I look at the emotional wiring, and then I'll look at your lesson. And I try to illuminate a lot about each one of those aspects of yourself and show you how it works in your life. It's very interesting that we are almost always have a combination of 4 different kinds of prints. And each one of our fingers has meaning. So when we look at the chart, the pattern that it makes, that tells me what you're excelling at, what you're gifted and talented, and what your highest expression is. Also the challenges to that. And then the challenge, the lesson that you came in that we're kind of blindsided. We don't know. We're clueless. We say, okay, this is my soul growth, this opportunity in this lifetime. And we're really usually pretty clueless and blind to it. But it shows up in our life in a saboteur kind of a way to get our attention, because it wants us to learn about it, right?
Absolutely.
So I look at those 3 aspects, and you know, that's about all somebody can absorb in a 2-hour session. Yeah. So I offer a lot of help with follow-up sessions to really apply this information into whatever struggles you're having right now. So it's an amazing platform for coaching, because it really gives us the soul psychology and your master plan.
Yeah, very cool. All right. Well, thank you. Let me just peek. There was one question that came in particular that and then we'll go on to the next thing. But question says, what if your fingerprints are messed up?
I have had many people think that they're unreadable, right? But most of the time we can see the pattern, and the pattern is really identifiable even when unless you've got, I really have rarely not been able to see prints. Now, we got a chance to see each other yesterday, and I had a real difficult time seeing your prints in the light we were in.
Yeah.
So I gave you a print kit to be able to print your fingerprints so that we may be able to see them better. Than our encounter yesterday, we didn't really have time.
Yeah, let me just go real quick backstory. I'm down here in Texas right now, and got here on Thursday, a couple days ago anyway. And a friend, Rick the beekeeper, shout out to Rick. I had reached out to him. I was going to see if the local farmers market. He said, "Do you know there's a holistic fair going on?" I go, "No." So I went to Facebook, told me where it was in the city. I found it. So happened that Barbara was there. I didn't know that. So we got to actually, another divine appointment, got to actually visit in person yesterday on
Yes.
Wednesday, and she got to show my hands. So you want me to show my hands now?
Well, yes, we can talk about your hands now.
Okay.
We were going to talk about why people come
Oh yeah,
for a consultation.
Yeah, please do
and
that.
I think that it's important to know that most of us don't feel very clear on our life direction. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like we just get a step at a time, and fate intervenes sometimes when we go a direction that's not supporting what we're meant to be doing. But most people are frustrated and feel kind of lost without meaning when they really are not in the direction, not really going in the direction. And often we'll feel that way even when we're right on path. So it really gives us a sense of knowing and certainty, if you will, that we are doing the right thing. Most of us are kind of doing it very unconsciously. Mm-hmm. But some people come to me just to find, they want some enlightenment on how to be happy and navigate this life and their struggles and, what are the answers. And the hands really have brilliant answers, because a lot of people are having trouble with relationships. And I love this for relationship because it gives us such amazing insights, which we'll go into on your hand.
Oh. Okay.
So sometimes, we're just curious, and it's spirit calling us to find out more about ourselves.
Great. Yeah. Cool. Let me just gonna peek back at the chat box. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Good. All right. So
yesterday I made some notes on your hand.
All right.
So
show them to the audience,
just to demonstrate what you can learn, right? So Mark has a real interesting combination of wonderful gifts, and so what you might be able to recognize from the image of his hand is that we're looking for certain things. First, we're looking for, does he have a square palm or a round palm or a long palm? And actually, he's got a combination of things that are so blended that this is challenging to see in Mark's hand. I'm going to show you mine, and you can see I have a very long palm. It's not square. Mark's is more square, but it's also round. And his fingers are not as long as I would say for an air hand, which has a long palm with long fingers, which I have. And he has not short fingers. So in your hand, it demonstrates the difficulty that it is that you have to spend a lot of time for hand recognition to really understand what's typical one and what's not. So let's talk about the elements that I do see. I do see that your earth is very prominent in your hand. That is the fullness of the features of your hand are very full and square. So you're really grounded. You're down to earth. You're very accountable. You're very responsible. And that earth quality in you, the earth element in you, shows up as you want to build things. You're a producer. You want to do things and get things done. And you have the thumb to do it. You have a very formidable thumb, which balances out your hand. And so let's see, your palm makes you that squareness makes you very logical and practical. Yes?
Yeah, there's definitely that element. I mean, that's one definitely key piece of
Yes,
it. Yeah.
yes. Now, also see that you have air, and air is a quality of being very mental and very analytical, and often very much looking at the deeper meaning of life. And so I call it kind of a philosopher's element. So you want to know how things work, like I do. I'm a
Mhm.
philosopher hand. I have a combination of air and water. Now, what I think is interesting is air holds their hand and their fingers open like this. And
Mhm.
one of your hands you held open more than
Mhm.
you do the other, which is
Mhm.
interesting. But for Earth, security is very important, and being down to earth, very fact oriented. Um, but fire, I also see fire in your hand, which changes that squareness to more round in your case, and makes it a little bit harder to see that squareness. And fire is very impulsive and passionate about what they do and adventurous. And air is very analytical, and the philosopher. So Earth is kind of trying to ground all of that in, and it's an opposite of polarity, really, for your fire and your earth. So how do you experience that? And sometimes that causes some tension.
Yeah, I'll give an example about, well, now 8 years ago, I made a choice to go teach. At the time, I was teaching Hispanic studies at a private school in Taiwan. Okay, that
Uh-huh.
was definitely kind of adventuresome because I
Oh
was,
my gosh, yes.
and I was, it was quite an adventure and a little often overwhelmed. But then there was a logical side to it too, that because one reason I went was it was a great opportunity financially, and just also just general mind expanding. So that's one example where I can see the tensions between the, adventuresome of, running off to Asia. And then
Yeah.
at the same time, there were some practical reasons why I went.
Oh, wonderful.
Another example of like kind of this tension, kind of, it was a push pull. When I was teaching the university, I was writing a book at the time, and there was part of me that was very committed, like you said, focus, getting the work done, of finishing my book. Another part of me, my friend was on a Fulbright scholarship down in Argentina, said, Mark, why don't you come? I have a great, huge place, just pay for your flight, food's reasonable, everything. And that was the adventuresome side. And then I said, no, I need to finish my book. I need
Oh,
to finish
wow.
my book. Okay, that went out. Again, I don't regret it, but hey, sometimes it's more important just go have fun. So, but there's that tension. So those are a few illustrations.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll point out in your story that was your earth saying, no, my security comes first, right? And
Yeah.
the fire that's impulsive and passionate and wanting to have fun and adventure was just not winning you over yet.
Yeah.
You had to ground it down into that security. So now the hand shape is our outer personality. And this is what we show to the world. This is also gives us an idea of what your vocational skills are going to be. And I failed to mention that air qualities are someone who's almost always very good at communications. They like variety. They'll get bored easily. Fire gets bored easily. And so you have quite a balance between that earth that's just kind of like you could stay the same and
Mhm.
be very traditional and conventional, but your fire and air makes you not that at all with
Yeah.
your earth.
Yeah.
So real interesting combination, and not one I see often. That
Mhm.
fire and earth is not a combination I see often.
Okay.
Now, the skin texture that you have brings in a little of the water quality, but it's
Mhm.
mostly air quality. So, in that case, we look at most of us have a prominent element with a secondary,
Yeah.
and we don't always see a third element. In your case, it was, I think, very logical to see the third. But often it's our element that we do not see in our hand that balances us. So in your
Mhm.
case, the water is the feeling. And we when we're very analytical and Earth is not real good at dealing with feelings. So we could have more challenge to get into our feelings. So it'll be interesting to see what your fingerprints reveal, because most likely that's where your water's going to be saying, I need to work on feelings. So we almost always have a paradox in our hands. So I wanted to talk about your heart line. One thing first that was very eye-catching, if you'll hold your hand up again.
The right or left?
But this one's fine. Do you see the middle section of his thumb, everyone? If you can touch it even. If you'll look at my thumb, I have a waist in that middle section, if you would see. It's a tapering. No, a little further up.
Oh, further up, right here?
No, the middle section of your thumb. If you're the length of your yes. Okay. You do not have a waist there. Now take your finger away so we can see that it's a pronounced, it's chunky, right? And this is an indication of your psychic ability. This is an indication that you have your psychic ability comes in flashes of insight. And it's what we call the know-it-all thumb, because you just know. When you know it, you just know it. All right. And then you also have some other features that talk about your psychic ability and your as a healer. I did notice some things that markings in your hands that are mark you as a healer. So let's talk about your heart line, and that is our emotional line. So that's our inner self. And your heart line is an earth heart line on one hand. Now, the other one is an earth heart line with a bit of a fire. So if you'll show that one again, it's a very curvy line. It's the uppermost line. Yes, uppermost line in your hand. It starts under the pinky finger and it goes over towards the other side of the hand. No, you're doing fine. We can see it. So, or I can see it. Yours curves and blends with another line that goes straight up to your middle finger. And that's a very extreme curve. So it makes me think that you also have some fire qualities as well as your earth. So earth's inner emotional wiring, your non-negotiable needs are freedom. You need a lot of freedom. You're very independent. You need to have that time. You're not going to do well being managed over other people. Right?
No comment.
So it's great for being an entrepreneur, right? You want to do your own thing, and you're good at doing your own thing and managing yourself. Excuse me. See if I can get my voice.
Take a little water, because excellent information.
So earth is also challenged to deal with feelings, sometimes yours, mine, and everyone's. And so we shy away from anybody with feeling difficulties sometimes. And you being the healer, you did not do that. You chose to deal with people's feelings. And that's a wonderful mastery of that kind of reluctancy that earth hands have. You also, I would say that fire element is one who knows what you want and can go for it. You're very action oriented. You're very, and you want to initiate things. You want to take charge in situations that are needed. You have the ability to take charge. A fire, inner emotional fire is very passionate. And they sometimes are painfully direct with all those that they communicate with. And so I don't think yours is very extreme. Like I said, it's not the depth. If you show your hand again, the depth of your line is deeper on the earth aspect of it. And then it fades in the depth of the line all the way up to the fire. So it's not like it's technically your fire, but I think you have enough fire in your hand and enough fire in your heart line that you would be feeling fire as well.
Yeah.
And fire's non-negotiable needs is they're passionate. They have to be passionate about whatever they do. You cannot compromise that. You won't, you can't make yourself do something you're not loving to do. Correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So we know those two things alone, your outer personality and your inner personality, tell us what you're working with, right? And your hand analysis of the fingerprints tell us what your soul's agenda is. Now, it's imprinted before we're born, and 5 months before we're born, we have these fingerprints imprinted on our hand, and they stay the same our whole life.
Yeah.
Now, something people don't know is these lines that are in our hands are a record of what we're thinking. Our consciousness has, and so it changes over time.
Yeah.
I had a block in my moon for a very long time, and it's fading. I had line. You can watch your lines come, ebb and flow.
Yeah.
They will change with you changing. When we look at the fingerprint pattern that stays the same our whole life, I look at that as our soul's agenda. It is what we're aspiring to be, and it's also tells us the lessons, the struggles that we're going to have to express those aspects of ourselves. Yes, we're gifted in certain ways, but each one of those gifts has a what I call a boot camp.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Wow. Well, thank you very much. I mean, the questions are pouring in, so I'm going to go back to the chat box.
Wonderful.
So
thank you for your comments, everyone.
Yeah. So we have from Cindy's strange question. One wonders if there were indications from fingerprints that one would be a criminal. I asked because of fingerprints being used to identify.
Yes. Actually, I don't know that I can answer that question. I haven't really looked into that study. Now, I know that there are some indications on the Mercury finger that are thought of in Indian palmistry that are thought of as indications of someone being real shady and or you got to watch out for this person. They don't always tell the truth.
Integrity challenged.
Integrity challenged. Yes.
Yeah.
So yes. I think that certain readers would be able to tell you that. It's not something that I have actually trained on, so I can't give you an accurate answer, if you will.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Let's see. I think you've answered this a little bit, but Vandana says, how do you do this for long distance clients? I think you
yes.
A little bit, but just recap that. Good.
I do send you a print kit, which is a sheet of paper that has ink on it. And then we ask you to print your hand. And I like to have more than one print, like 2 prints. And I ask you to put your fingerprints down here at the bottom so that I have not only here, but also how it shows up on the top of your hand. Often we don't get as good a print when we're concentrating on the whole hand, so we have to do, and then in long distance. Also, if I'm doing a quick reading, I've had people take a picture with their phone and send it to me. Like if you're needing a consultation right now, right. I often have you send me a picture of and that will tell me your personality aspects. Yeah. If I'm looking at your fingerprints, I really like to have a print. And if I'm working with you, in the same area, then I'm going to print it for you myself. But I'll send you a print kit so that you can send it to me. And I like to have photographs also because that tells me about your skin texture, the skin color. I can find out a lot more from the photo sometimes and the print, both side by side. That helps.
Excellent. Okay, let me
thanks for the question.
Yeah, thank you. A lot of people are noticing, like 3 or 4 people, like Sue put, I guess they're talking about their square, which area of the you mentioned, I'm sorry.
The palm.
Yeah, so a lot of people are kind of commenting that they're square.
Okay. So let's look at, just to kind of be definitive on that. If you look at the width of your palm, and you take that width and you place it underneath your middle finger. You look at, is it about the same length this way, right? And as you can see, mine is far longer than that it is wide.
Yeah.
So I have what you would call a long palm. And if you do it to yours, you'll see it's more square. They're just about the same width this way and this way. But my trained eye sees that it's a little longer and it's rounder, which tells me again that it's not pure earth. It's got the fire and the air. I hope that helps. Yeah, so we have a lot of square palms. So a lot of people are curious and logical and want to know the practicality of how to use this, right?
Okay, let's see what's from Pamela. I find my hand square, but I have arthritis in thumbs and surgery for trigger finger.
Trigger finger, are we talking about this finger or first finger? Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
often when we have difficulty in different fingers, it is an indication of the issues that we're having with that particular, the meaning of that finger. So let me talk to you about this finger. This is everybody's got one. And if it is your life purpose, you're going to have struggles. If it's your lesson, you're going to have struggles with power issues of people being powerful over you, you giving your authority away to others to be power over you. We often start out as a young person having struggles with our own power and feeling helpless and feeling victimized. And often our boundaries have been compromised and we have to give our power away. And then that becomes a pattern in life that eventually we have to conquer. But that's what I call the setup that gives us the soul growth, if you will. Because you came in, you chose that. This is by design, that your soul wanted to grow this way. So you have the circumstances that give you a sense of victimization or powerlessness or helplessness so that you can grow out of, you know, I'm tired of being a victim. I'm tired of giving my power away. I'm tired of letting everybody else walk all over me. I'm going to grow through this. You know, this is what I was dealing with when I was leaving my partner. It was really challenging to go out on my own. Most people with Jupiter issues are working behind the scenes of somebody else's agenda. That's a big distraction for most of our lives. And so when we really step into our empowerment, often with a Jupiter purpose, it will come late in life. Where you really step into leadership later in life, like I'm talking after 50 and after 60. Which is very interesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks for the question, Pamela. Let's see. Let me scroll back up. There's more. Okay. You do readings. She answered that. Yeah, she does readings and explain. Let's see. Okay.
I invite readings at the. We'll talk about it at the end of the show. Anyone who's interested, I would be welcoming a call and explore with you. If this is right for you, and get your information, send you a kit or make an appointment.
We'll be sharing your contact information at the end of the show.
Wonderful.
So, and this maybe we kind of touched on this question from Cindy. Do you think an acquired scar would have an influence, I guess, on your reading? You know, it's like someone has a scar or like had a cut that left a big scar.
Usually scars or cuts are telling us something, right? And so it depends on where they are. And if the scar is in the fingerprint itself, that can be challenging to read the pattern. But a scar somewhere else is pretty much just going to indicate something that you were working through at the time. Let me talk to you about an example. I sat down at breakfast with a friend, and she, in her conversation with all of us at the table, was talking about, oh yeah, Barbara breeds hands. And she said, I have a question for you. I've got this rash that keeps showing up in this part of my thumb, and it's, very irritating,
Yeah.
and it's very painful, and, I don't know what to do about it. And I said, well, that is in your voice. This is in your throat chakra. This is an area of your throat chakra. So what are you not saying? And she just about turned beet red and said, oh, okay. I get it. Yeah.
Got it.
So she was really realizing, oh my God, that really is what it's about, because I'm not saying something that I need to be saying. Right.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing will tell us an indication of something that you're working on.
Yeah. And which actually kind of segues to my next question. I'll let you get a sip of water. But can you share with us like one of your most remarkable client success stories where they were kind of when they came to you, where they were? Can you share one of those with us?
I can. My favorite story is what I call the ER comic.
Okay.
I had a client that came to me in search of what should he be doing. He was miserable in his job. He was a medic and a medical doctor in the ER.
Okay.
And he spent his days very stressed and everything. And he was funny and used his he used it as comic relief. Okay. So he would it would be very stressful in situations, and he would be, with families and all kinds of situations, and he would make light of circumstances or something so that everyone could have he'd break in the tension, if you will.
Mm-hmm, sure.
And he got in trouble for doing this. His boss didn't think that this was appropriate, and yet it was his natural gift. Sure. So on looking at his fingerprints, we looked at that his purpose really was that coming late in life, and that his creative finger was wanting to be expressed, and he really was in his life purpose was to be on stage in spotlight and get attention, and to use that and his comic relief. So he just about jumped out of his chair and kissed me when I gave him permission to be this comic and be on stage, because that's where his heart's desire was taking him. And he was in a church play where he was getting to be the comedian and everything. And he walked away saying, I've learned more about myself in this last 2 hours than the last 3 weeks working with this agency that I'm paying thousands of dollars to find what my life direction is, my career direction is. And he said, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be thankful for the job that I have, but this is where I'm going. I know this is really what I want to do, and I can give myself permission to do that. So, he left feeling very life affirmed. And that was lovely. And then I had a client that she was depressed for a couple of years. Yeah. And she couldn't understand what the source of the depression was. And when we got into her fingerprints, we looked at that her life purpose was to make dysfunctional family and feeling out of sync with family into her own family and community. And she went, oh my gosh, lights went off. She said, I left my career at Southwest Airlines 2 years ago, where I was there for 26 years. And I was like the mother hen over all the young people that on my team, that I was building community. I knew all about their love life. I knew, I helped them remember to take their vitamins. She was like their mother hen, as you said, and literally building a family there. And she was in this depression because she left this sense of building this community. And when she understood that, then she was like, oh, okay, then I need to find my direction in community again. So she was going to be looking, she was kind of having an inkling at the time. She wanted to build a community, a tribe, a circle of women. And that gave her direction to do that.
Excellent. Great stories. Let me go back to the chat box.
Great.
Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay. Scrolling up. Okay. Okay. A lot of people are interested, well, you'll be sharing out your contact information if they wish. They can follow up with you. So,
Great.
Yeah, and as we get ready to close, right before we share your contact, do you have any other final comments or thoughts? Anything you want to share before we?
Well, yes, I would love to share that. I really believe that we're all here with a purpose. And I do feel like most of us are here to make change in the world. And it begins with us. We have to make that change for ourselves. And this particular method is really, really helpful to really pinpoint that. It's helped me really move into my own intuitive abilities to coach people on what changes they need to make. I absolutely have been working on my own spiritual evolution and understanding the tools that really make life change and strategies. So I help people with those strategies. And I just want you to feel that you are and you are the one that makes changes in your life. And I want to give you the power to make those changes, to have the life of your dreams and really live and commit to your purpose and your spiritual alignment. And that's what I'm about.
Yeah, I love that. I always tell my clients, give them different tools for self-empowerment. Do as much as you can for yourself, which is exactly what you're doing. And then, sometimes we all get stuck, me included. That's when I consult an outside expert and, get me back on the road and have a new set of tools to keep moving forward. Love it.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Beautiful.
So Barbara, please share with your audience, what's the best way to reach you? If they want to follow up with you in any way, learn more about your work, your offerings. Yeah. What's the best way?
Wonderful. Well, thank you. I would say connect with me on Facebook and or my phone. And you can find my email on my website. My website is awakenyourfire.com. You can learn a little bit more there. Although I'm not as active as I'd like to be on my website, it needs some updating.
Yeah.
But I would welcome any texting. Let me know that you're interested in a phone call with me. I would love to give anyone on the call that's interested in pursuing a reading with me at least a 20-minute exploration call. Yeah. So I will post my number at the end of the call.
That would be great. Yeah, if you can send me. And what's your Facebook page? How would they best find you on Facebook?
It's Barbara Gale.
Okay, your name.
Also,
okay, Barbara Gale.
And I have two. I have a social, and then I have a Barbara Gale Divine Purpose Mentor.
Okay. Yeah.
And
after the show, if you can send me those exact links, and I'll post those. That'd be
perfect. Great. I would love to do that.
Well, great.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Yeah, Barbara, thank you so much for being with us today. I learned a lot yesterday, today. I know I'm going to continue learning. This is very fascinating. And what I like is I can see, I guess the earth in me sees the very practical application to the big picture, the fiery, the soul, and all that, but where you can ground it and you can actually take action. So I love that about your work and much more. So thank you again for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
For having me. I appreciate everyone
thank
here.
You. Yeah, thank everyone. So just a reminder, we go on the air every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, right here off the Akashic Academy homepage. As I said earlier in the show, be sure to share, love, like. If you're seeing this live replay or on YouTube, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the People and Pets channel. Each week, I'll be bringing on leading guests in the age of holistic health and wellness for people, animals, and spaces. Tune in next Tuesday when our guest will be Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson is renowned for his work in nutrition and wellness, a lot of physical nutrition and wellness. And he'll be sharing with you how to take care of your physical body. So if you've had any questions about physical nutrition, taking really good care of yourself, especially on the physical plane, but not just that, he does much more, join the show. I
Wonderful.
always love his tagline. His tagline is, if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll make time for your illness. If you don't make time for your wellness, you'll make time for your illness. Very spot on and practical. We can all think of how that applies to our lives. So join us next week when my guest will be Brian Johnson. And if I can be of service, let's talk. You know, you can find me here on my page at People and Pets Energetics on Facebook, or some people still like the old school. Pick up the phone, give me a call, 210-775-2696. So this is Mark with the People and Pets Show, and Barbara, I know, thanks everyone. We're going to sign off. Have a great afternoon, and keep the comments coming. Thanks again for being on the show, everyone. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.